Hello, my name is Artur. I'm an ICT teacher from Portugal, near Lisbon, and in this short video I will try and show you how to use generative AI, namely 3D, to recreate objects from reality or other types of objects using traditional drawing, image generation, and 3D modeling via AI. Bear in mind that the very first objective of this activity is to challenge my students to understand that they can use AI creatively, not just as a prompt and output machine, but to use these tools to support their own creativity. So, first and foremost, the main rule for this activity was that all 3D projects had to be hand-drawn firstly. Of course, some students do creative work, others prefer to replicate icons from pop culture, but all of them had to start with a plain old drawing using pencils, using crayons, using felt pens, whatever they wanted. But I only worked with drawings by my students. As you can see, it was a wide range of types of drawings. The second step was to use Gemini to give a 3D-ish look to the drawings. Because, for example, in a drawing such as this, the 3D AI does not have enough information to create or to recreate in 3D these drawings. So I've used Gemini with the Nano Banana framework to recreate the pupils' work in a 3D-ish fashion, in a simple prompt, to transform the main drawing by the pupil into a 3D-ish model. The next step was using an AI 3D tool. I prefer Hunyuan by Tencent, which I have to use in a translated version because it's only in Chinese, so I have to depend on automatic translations. But of course, other tools such as Meshlab can do the same thing. All you need is a tool, an AI framework that can take one image or several images and generate a 3D model. As I've said earlier, I prefer Hunyuan because it is quite generous with daily credits. I can do 20 generations in a day. And if you have lots of students, you understand that it's, how can I say it? It's very useful to have a tool that gives me so much generations. Of course, if you have a powerful computer with a powerful graphic cards, you can always run Comfy UI and use a 3D modeler from AI inside Comfy UI. I don't have that, so I have to use a web version. Creating a 3D model here is quite straightforward, so all I need to do is click Create AI and then choose 3D graphics to create a 3D model. I can use either just one image or several images. If I use several images, they must show the front, the back, and the side views of the object. I'm going to choose just one image. Load one image. I'm going to the folder where I've already left some of my students' projects. I'm going to choose this one because it's the simpler one and actually one of the best for me. I only have to choose the image which I want to use to create a 3D model. And then I can choose the polygon count of the model. And then after choosing a polygon count, I'm going to choose low poly, click generate. I'm not going to show you the whole generation process, that's beyond the point. As you can see, Hunyuan gives us quite interesting results. But one of the problems that these types of AI have is that they always create models, 3D models, with too many polygons. So I always do an intermediate step in which I process the model before sending it to the printer. So I'm just going to download this model as an STL file. After downloading, I always use a couple of intermediate steps because 3D rendered in AI is not perfect, far from it. So first things first, I'm going to open my STL file using Meshlab, a utility that will allow me to decrease the polygon count of the model without losing quality. So I've just opened Meshlab. I'm going to import my model, which is quite heavy, 71 megabytes. So as you can see, this model has 1,000,000 400,000 faces, which is too much in terms of 3D printing. So I have to use a filter called quadric edge collapse decimation. It's one of my favorites. That will allow me to decimate the model, the polygons in the model, into a more manageable size. I have to do this a couple of times. As you can see, I've been quite violent in decimating the model, but the whole overall quality of the mesh was not lost. So I'm just going to do save as or an export, and then another intermediate step. Because if I import this model into a slicer, it will not have the necessary dimensions to be sliced. It's another caveat of the AI modelers. So I generally use another utility called Netfabb. There are other programs that do this, of course, to import it. As you can see, still quite a tight mesh, and then just use a scale option to increase the size of the model. As you can see, the y-axis, which is the higher value, is just 1 millimeter, which means that it's extremely small. So I'm going to change the y-axis into 100 millimeters, scale it up, and now I have a model that can be easily printed in my 3D printer. And now I can very easily import it into my slicer. In this activity, I see a couple of interesting things. Bear in mind that I've done this with 10-year-olds, so some of the steps like sending to Hunyuan or prepare the 3D prints were not done by them, but with them, of course, so that they can see how this works. But the first thing that comes to my mind is the importance of showing our students that AI output per se is not enough. That the best AI outputs always come from our imagination and from taking our work and giving them other dimensions to be explored. In this case, using 3D to recreate just plain classical simple drawings by children. And the look on their faces when they finally pick up their 3D printed objects is amazing, because for some of them, it's still quite unbelievable that their very simple drawing is now a toy in their hands, which they can use to play or to display or whatever they want to do with it. I would love to show you some results, but I gave all of them to my students.